Hello, I'm Sally Stanton and welcome to Snacks and Suitcases, the podcast packed with tips, tricks and real-life stories to make travelling with kids of all ages a whole lot easier and way more fun. And today I'm back with one of your absolute favourites. It's Joe Macgregor from the Tokyo chapter, but this time we're heading south to Osaka and Kyoto.
Mom, can I pack all my teddies?
Okay, let's get started. You all know how much I just love Japan. And I'm a total city girl, so Tokyo, it has my heart. But Osaka and Kyoto are just as incredible. The best part is they're so easy to get to. You just jump on the Shinkansen from Tokyo and it's about 2.5 hours to Osaka and a little less to Kyoto. Joe describes Osaka as grittier than Tokyo, but full of energy, personality, and chatty locals. Plus, there's incredible street food. And then there's Kyoto, Japan's original capital and cultural heart. It is it is packed with Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines. In fact, there are over 2,000 in Kyoto alone, of which 17 are UNESCO sites. Kyoto has a timeless beauty you just cannot replicate anywhere else in the world. It is stunning in every season, and it looks so different in every season. I guess that's why it's just so darn popular. In this episode, Jo shares how to experience both cities like a pro parent from her perfect day out itineraries. And yes, karaoke makes an appearance, but it's karaoke with a difference. To keeping the kids happy while soaking up culture. She'll tell you where to stay, where to eat, and where to play, all while avoiding the tourist crush. Jo paints such a vivid and achievable picture of Osaka, and especially Kyoto. You'll be detouring from Tokyo before you know it. She is back for a 4th time on the podcast. It's Jo Macgregor from the Tokyo chapter. Hi, Jo.
Hello.
Tell me first about the vibe of Osaka and how it differs from Tokyo.
Well, Osaka differs in the sense that it's a bit more grungy, but it's a lot more friendly than Tokyo. So it's a lot more friendly. So Osaka, even just the way people in Osaka talk is known for being like a comedian city. Most of the comedians in Japan seem to come from the Osaka area. Just very, very friendly. You'll even notice, even if you take a taxi, and especially if you're traveling with small children, the driver might have like a few sweets and say, well, the kids like something or want to talk a lot more than perhaps if you're in Tokyo. They just want to have a little chat where you're from. Or like in my case, they might be like, koalas, that's where koalas are from, right? They just want to be really, really friendly. Same with when you're in a restaurant, you're more likely to have one of the staff members wanting to just ask, have you ever had this food before? That sort of thing. So it takes you out of a big city like anywhere in the world. You take them out of the town and you sort of get more of a friendly vibe. One of the stereotypes in Osaka, which I really love, is the Osaka Oba-chan. And that's like a Japanese auntie, and everybody knows it's like a friendly old auntie in Japan. She's usually got some sweets in her pockets and she wants to have a chat and she'll give the sweets to the grown-ups or to the children. And that's the sort of vibe. So Osaka might look a bit, I'm not going to say dirty, but like more gritty, but in
edgy.
a bit more edgy in a really cool way. It's not as sparkling clean as in Tokyo. But it's more of that sort of gritty, fun, bit artistic vibe.
I got the impression from when I watch a few Japanese TV shows on Netflix, and they often sort of suggest that people from Osaka are a bit tougher, a bit rougher.
Bit tougher, bit rougher, but more friendly too. In the same way you could say that about maybe some tradies in Australia or some surfing cover people. They won't take your rubbish, but they're like, come and sit here, love. Tell me about your story, like that.
Right.
That kind of vibe.
A bit of a larrikin type vibe. Okay, got it. They have a different dialect too, don't they?
They do. So a lot of people who haven't learned to speak Japanese or don't understand Japanese might find it hard. But Japan is actually a bit like England in that you can tell when someone opens their mouth most of the time what part of Japan they're from. So as you know, in England, some people have a bit of a posh accent, some people have a bit of a rough, and some people just have it sounds really cool and different. It's the same way in Japan. So you can tell You can tell them. Then you go countryside, and that where it can get a bit harder, particularly with old people speaking, because you're like, what was that? What was that?
And they're so different that they even travel on a different side of the escalator.
They do. Yes.
Why? How did that happen?
I don't know. I guess we can liken it to Melbourne and Sydney, how we say like the palmy and the Palmer argument. I think it must be just like that, where you just do all the, what is it, potato cakes and potato scallops.
You say potato cakes, do you?
It's a potato cake till I die. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely scallops in New South Wales.
So there you go.
Yeah.
See, and that's how people from Osaka and Tokyo will talk about escalators, that thing too. And in a similar way to Melbourne and Sydney, there's a bit of a competitive vibe sometimes people will have too, being like Tokyo is better, that sort of vibe as well.
And it's pretty famous for being a street food city, isn't it?
It is, yes. And particularly most people, particularly Japanese people, will think of takoyaki when they think of Osaka. It's the same batter as okonomiyaki. If you've had the Japanese savory pancake, and there's a little piece of cooked squid inside, a little piece of octopus inside, and it's eaten and it's made into like a ball shape, like a golf ball. Looks like a golf ball, and then they put it like a brown sauce on top, and then you can choose to have some mayonnaise, or you have some bonito fish flakes on top of that.
Good.
Sold side of the road. Very cheap, very quick. Yeah.
Yum.
Very cheap, and that's the kind of thing you need some cash for as well, because that kind of place wouldn't take a card.
That's right. Now, so for families, how does Osaka compare to Tokyo? Is it a good base or more of a short stop? What do you think?
I think they're both good bases, and they've both got lots of things for kids. I definitely would allocate more time to Tokyo if you were making me write up an itinerary right now, because Tokyo is just bigger and there's more of it and lots of different types of things to do. But Osaka, definitely, I think you should check it out, whether you are staying in Osaka or making a day trip from Kyoto.
To get there, you can catch the Shinkansen so easily from Tokyo, can't you?
You can.
Kyoto, you can stop at Kyoto.
Shin Osaka is the bullet train stop, and Kyoto is also a bullet train stop, so you both are accessible by bullet train. If you were to take a bullet train from Osaka to Kyoto, it takes 12 minutes. That's how close they are together. However, let me do a bit of a tangent. If you are staying in Osaka or Kyoto and want to travel to the other, I recommend taking just a normal train, a limited express train. It will take more like 30-40 minutes, but it will cost you a lot less money. And Shin Osaka, which is the bullet train station, is kind of in an awkward spot. So by the time you get out to the bullet train, to get on the bullet train and then get into Kyoto, it's probably the same time-wise as your 30-40 minutes.
Oh,
anyway.
right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you've got to get to the station to start with.
What are the good areas in Osaka for families to stay in?
Personally, I really like Namba, Namba. Yeah, Namba's a really good area. There's so much to do, so many restaurants. Pretty much any hotel you pick in Namba, either side of Namba, you'll fall into restaurants. There's so many options. There is also a big department store called Namba Parks.
Yes.
And that is a great option for people with, children of any age. But if you have a baby, they've got a big Toys R Us, which has lots of different nappies, baby food, all that stuff too. So that's just a great base as well. Lots of non-Japanese cuisine options there too. You can do shopping, you do fashion shopping, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we stayed opposite there. And it was, I think when we were there, it was getting close to, no, it was November. So the Christmas lights had come out, and they do the best Christmas fairy light displays. And it obviously gets dark a little bit earlier then. My daughter was up later, and every night we would go there for dinner and pick a new place to eat. And she would run around the fairy garden, and she thought Elsa was going to pop out. It was so good for kids. All the kids were out running around in the dark, or the little kids, like 3-year-olds. It was great.
That's so special. That's really special.
I have really good memories of that. They do Christmas lights really well.
They do. They really do. And often they'll be for winter illumination. So they'll go on not just for Christmas, they'll go until later on into the new year. Sometimes they'll start way earlier because they're not just for Christmas a lot. So it's really, really special. I agree. As well as Namba, I also really recommend Umeda. Not many people think of it. Umeda is practically at JR Osaka station. So you step out of JR Osaka Station, you're at Umeda. The shopping there is really good. There's lots of restaurants. It's a nice mix of sort of more shiny Osaka and the gritty sort of side of Osaka, really central because, like I said, you're next to JR Osaka Station, so you can get anywhere. Not Shin Osaka, that's a bullet train, JR Osaka Station. So you've got really good access. So that area is wonderful as well. And then you've got some other sub areas. Honmachi is also worth taking a look at if you're looking to save some money. Honmachi. Honmachi is also a good option, but definitely in order of my favorites, you got Namba, Umeda, and then Honmachi.
Now, when we think of Osaka, we think of food and fun, but why is it such a good family destination?
Well, most people will think of Universal Studios, of course. That's one of the main pulling cards. Also, Kids Plaza Osaka. I don't know if you had a chance to go there before. It's an
We did.
You did. It's amazing indoor. I would call it a museum, sort of a play centre / museum
The
for
best.
children. It is incredible, that place. So, and there's a big playground outside as well. So you can make a full day of it. And a lot of families who have kids who really have the wriggles were going every second day when they were in Osaka just to get a couple hours to get some wriggles out and then continue on with the day. So
Yeah, Kids Plaza Osaka was awesome. One of the best things that we did in Osaka, actually. My daughter got to pretend she was mummy and be a TV presenter for the day. That was one of the jobs. It's almost like Kidzania, but you're free to roam.
You are, and it's that's right. It is a lot like that. You get to post letters, and there's lots of climbing things, that sort of thing. And then another place in Osaka most people like to go is Dotonbori along the river. So you can do a river cruise there. I like it at night the best because it isn't the most beautiful spot, but in the nighttime with the lights on, it's really nice. It is quite crowded, of course. So I recommend having a think about dinner before you head out to that area. Have a think about where you want to eat dinner and making a reservation because it is quite busy with tourists at the moment.
When we were there, we obviously went to get the photo with the Glicko man, the marathon man, which reminds me of my childhood because he was on all the lolly packets. And we got the photo and then it started pouring down with rain and this beautiful man just ran up to us and gave us an umbrella. And then when I tried to give it back, he didn't want it back. He's like, no, keep it for the rest of your trip.
See, Japan's just so beautiful. It makes everyone want to be a nicer person, doesn't it, when you have things like that happen?
I know. So generous, yeah.
So can I tell you like an ideal afternoon suggestion itinerary for being in that Dotonbori area? So in order to check out Dotonbori, because it's not so beautiful during the daytime, in my opinion, I recommend going to Amerikamura, which is American Village, and that has a lot of sort of retro shops, a lot of secondhand shops. It's a bit vibey, and there's a little playground there called Horie Park, and kids can play on the swings and things. And then you can do some shopping. A lot of the vintage stores also have like some toys and collector's items, or the t-shirts. Secondhand shops have a lot of characters like Snoopy and things like that on them. So you could do that.
I love vintage shopping in Japan. They've got the best secondhand stores.
Me too. It's really cool. And then I would walk along to Dotonbori, have dinner in that area that you've pre-booked because it will be busy, and then have a walk along the river, maybe do a night cruise. The night cruises are very reasonably priced, around 2,000 yen per person and kid-friendly because you're not eating on them. You're just literally a little boat ride. That's a fun thing to do with kids. And then I'd head out for a family session of karaoke. There's a lot of karaoke. Yeah. You're in big city lights. Dotonbori is lots of neon. It's what a lot of people think of when they think of Japan, a bit lost in translation, Osaka style. So then I would head out to some karaoke.
Is there karaoke that's more for kids?
I think that most karaoke is fine. My favorite one to recommend in Tokyo is one called Rainbow Shibuya. That's a great one. But in Osaka, I think any of the branches are fine. If you want one that will have more kids and teens around, you can always go to the karaoke at round one, and one is usually the number one, so it's round one, and it's a big arcade complex that has bowling and karaoke and darts and all those things, and so you can go in and do it there. But there's other brands are all fine. Karaoke-kan, Jankara is probably more common in Osaka, Big Echo. Any of those are fine, and because you're in your own room, you don't need to worry about safety of children because it's your own rules. So you order the food, you order the drinks.
You pick the songs.
You pick the song. If you choose one that's near Dotonbori, you'll get one with a nice view, hopefully of some nice city lights. It's a really cool way to spend an evening as a family. And even your shyest of children, trust me, a couple songs in, you'll be like, can someone else have a turn, please?
I often hog the microphone, but I think now My daughter's going to give me a run for my money.
My son, last time we went, he was quiet for a lot of it. He's my introvert, quiet, and then he put a song in and he wanted to sing just the two of us with him and I as a duet. And it was the highlight of my life as a mother so far. It was so small. I was like, can I? That's amazing. It was so cute. It was so cute.
You know what my daughter loved in Osaka? The Ferris wheel near Don Quixote. Do you know the Ferris wheel? It's like a sideways Ferris wheel.
I do. The yellow one that kind of looks just like a squished Ferris wheel, yes.
Yes. It's so weird.
It is so weird.
But she just thought that was the best thing ever.
Oh,
Wasn't
good girl.
scared or anything.
That's nice.
Yeah. She also liked donkey. I hate it. It's too overwhelming for me, and I feel like you can get all your beauty stuff and snacks elsewhere for a better price with less crowds.
Yes, Don Quixote is a bit of an attack on the senses, isn't it?
It is, especially the one in Tokyo in Shinjuku. Oh my gosh, it's open like 24 hours, I think, and it's got the really narrow escalators going up one side, and then you have to walk down the stairs down the other. 6 levels of crazy.
It is.
Yeah, packed with tourists as well. What about Osaka Castle?
I think kids love it, and also there's a great big playground there. There's also a play center there, and there, because it is nice and touristy, you've got people dressed up as like samurais and things right outside. It doesn't take very long to get through. I think it's a great option. My sister took her kids when it was cherry blossom season, and the kids were sort of overseeing pink flowers, and there was cherry blossoms all through the gardens and the kids playing on the slide, and it's beautiful.
I love the roller slide that's there. Could not get my daughter off it.
Yes, it's a really good playground there, really, really good playground. So I think trick kids into thinking they're going to the playground and then be like, well, we're here.
Yeah.
Let's go into the castle, and they'll like it because it's a lot of it's a lot of little nooks and things that when you get to the top, you got to climb a couple of things. It's really nice. It's a shoes off option as well, which is always fun for kids too. It's nice.
And there's a train, isn't there? A little train that can take you from the playground to the bottom of the castle from memory.
Oh, I don't remember seeing it, but that sounds cool. Yes, it's very family friendly.
Yeah, it is. I do remember there was also a bit of walking, but they had ice creams and ice blocks available, and that was how we used that was a bribe. I'm just going to say it. I bribed my child to do the walking.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, I can do a lot more steps if I'm eating an ice cream as well.
Yeah, we all can. Now, do you know of any hidden gems or less touristy spots around Osaka worth exploring with the kids?
I really like Chayamachi. There's an area called Chayamachi. It's not too far from Umeda. It's got a lot of really cool Chayamachi. It's got a lot of really cool cafes. It's not Osaka, but I also think many people forget Osaka and Kobe are very, very close together. And Kobe is really special. So although it's not Osaka anymore. For example, when I met my husband, I was living in Kobe and so was he, but he commuted to Osaka for work every day. That's how close Osaka is. And yeah, so you can always pop over to Kobe for a large portion of the day, and I'll have Kobe beef in Kobe and do all the beautiful Kobe things. Kobe's just a beautiful, beautiful place to go.
How many days would you recommend spending in Osaka with kids?
Okay, so as a rule, I generally recommend for families to choose to stay in either Osaka or Kyoto. But if you're just going to stay in Osaka, I'd probably say 3 or 4 days. If you were doing Kyoto and Nara from there, I'd probably say 5 or 6 days. If you're doing a 2-week itinerary and mixing it up with Tokyo, I think that would be plenty.
Do you have any specific accommodation suggestions in Osaka? Because I remember on your Instagram stories a while back, you were promoting or you were visiting something called And Here?
I was, and actually it isn't an area that I would have recommended anyway, but there's a new hotel in the Number area. The Number area is great with kids, and Here Number.
And Here. So it's the ampersand and, isn't it?
It is, yes. So it's the and mark and then Here hotel, and it's an apartment hotel. They actually have another one in Tokyo, and they're opening up a second one in Tokyo very, very soon. And they're amazing because they're an apartment that has bunk beds, a kitchenette. They can accommodate very large families, and it feels like a little house. And the location is so good that you can practically fall out of the hotel. There's a little playground around the corner. There's restaurants, and they're all open till very late as well, which is great. And lots of restaurants that welcome kids as well. So it's a really vibey area. If you're a foodie, it's a really, really good option. So, and here they have a rooftop garden as well for guests who are staying. Or I shouldn't say garden. It's a rooftop area, and they play the baseball on the projector, and you can look over Osaka and take up your own drinks and nibbles from the convenience store or from your little kitchenette. And it's a really special idea.
So fun. I remember looking at that story thinking, I just want to go now. I'm booking there. Like, you really convinced me.
You would love it. You would really love it. It's beautiful there.
It was bright and colourful too, wasn't it?
Yes, particularly that rooftop area, and then the rooms, depending on what floor you're on, there's sort of one floor is like a purpley colour, and another floor is sort of a blue colour. And the suites are unlike anything I've ever seen. So you can sleep. Lots of people. There's a big tatami section, 2 separate bedrooms, a washing machine in the room. It's really lush.
Ugh. And public baths down the bottom? Well, not public baths, but
no, not at this one. No, there is one in Ueno, the one in Tokyo I was speaking of before. They don't have the rooftop area. Instead, they've got on the top floor a public bath, like an onsen style bath for guests to use. So, and that is beautiful. It's a great way for families to try it for the first time too if you're staying.
Speaking of public baths, are there any popular onsens in Osaka?
There are. It is difficult to find an onsen to really relax in unless it's a part of your accommodation. But one exception that I like to recommend is a place called Spa World. It's a swimming pool and onsen public bath complex. So
that sounds fun.
It is really fun, and it's all indoors, and it's got water slides, that sort of thing. So one half is swimwear on, and the other side, the onsen side, is no swimwear allowed, of course, but it's a great way to try. So you don't have to do the no swimwear side if you don't want to do the hot bath side, but it's a really good way to try it too. And it's all included in your ticket. So you could be like, I'm just going to try for a second, and then I'm back to the swimming part. It's a really fun option for kids. It's a good rainy day option. It's a good hot weather option. It's great.
Is there a team lab in Osaka, a permanent team lab?
There is. Well, at the moment, they have no sign of shutting it down or keeping it a temporary or anything. It's called Team Lab Osaka. It's in the Botanical Gardens, and it's only at night time.
Oh, outdoors.
Outdoors. So you will need to make a reservation so you can have a nice early dinner and then take a wander through. It's very beautiful. It's a different vibe to the options in other parts of Japan that are indoors. This is like a what do you call it? An outdoor exhibition, light-up exhibition.
Let's move on to Kyoto, the original capital of Japan. It's where people come to experience the history and cultural heart of Japan. And it's south from Tokyo on a bullet train. And it is, as you said, the stop before Osaka, 12 minutes before Osaka.
It is, yes.
A lot of people visit Kyoto, don't they?
They do. So in some ways, a lot of people think that in their holiday itinerary, Kyoto is going to be their little green, tranquil paradise. It can be, but it does require more planning because Kyoto is more smushed together than Tokyo. So in Tokyo, Tokyo is so vast and so spread out that the tourists have got lots of places to go without completely falling all over one another. Whereas Kyoto, the main places are more smushed together, which means you'll just need to plan a little bit better, especially with children when it comes to booking some dinner options and what time of day you head out, where you head to. It's really magical. I particularly like Kyoto at night, walking through those back streets. It feels like a movie set. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous. Are some parts of Gion now closed off to tourists? Is that going to disappoint people?
There are some places that are closed, but it's not as bad as you might think or some media outlets might have made you think. Most of it is to protect the privacy of people who live in those areas. So some of the roads that lead just down to little houses, of course, are closed off to tourists and have signs up saying no photos, but it won't stop you getting from where you need to go or getting your cute pictures or getting to the restaurants. Of course, the restaurants still want you to be able to find them and get to them. So it's not going to inhibit your holiday at all. It's a good chance to have a talk with kids about let's make sure we follow the signs though and be respectful.
Yeah, don't ruin it for everybody else.
Exactly.
Do you think there's an off season to visit Kyoto? If you just had to choose the quietest time, is there one?
The quietest time would be December through February, definitely, and the summer months, but I don't recommend that because it's very, very hot.
Too hot.
But winter is very beautiful. New Year's is a very special time to be there too. The city sort of closes down and it just feels so special. So, yes, I would recommend going in the winter months if you really want if you want a bigger slice of Kyoto to yourself.
Do you have a particular favorite temple or shrine?
I do. I have a couple, and some of them are the touristy options because there's some that I think that you just shouldn't miss, even though they are crowded and popular, but they're popular for a reason, with good reason. So I really like Kiyomizu-dera or Kiyomizu Temple, depending on who you're talking to. That's the wooden structure on the stilts. Most people probably could recognize it because they've probably seen it on postcards or Japan promotional videos. It's beautiful. There's a big walk up to the temple and to the entrance that you can't skip. So a taxi or a bus will only drop you at the bottom, and that's part of the experience. So you can wander up and you can rent a kimono if you like for the whole time that you're there. You can get some soft serve ice cream. There's a lot of handicraft style shops, so you could buy a purse that's made out of kimono fabric, that sort of thing, and then wander through the temple. Then you go through the other side and there's a koi garden, which my kids really enjoy. And it's right near that the back streets called Higashiyama. So you can wander through slowly there if you're going in the afternoon or the evening. It's really special.
I remember going to all those places when I was on exchange in Japan with a whole bunch of kids from around the world. It was awesome. I was 16. That was my favorite one, along with Kinkakuji at the time. And I've since been back to Kinkakuji, but not Kiyomizu-dera.
Oh, you'll have to do that next time.
Oh, I will. I vividly remember all the little stalls set up along the side, and I think I bought something from each and every one.
Good. And yes, so the Golden Pavilion, Kinkakuji, was going to be my other touristy recommendation. It's a little bit out of the way, so you have to take a bus. I do have on my blog a couple of restaurants that are nearby, so you could always pair it with lunch if you wanted to. But it's a short, sharp fun. So it's not, the castle grounds aren't really, the pavilion grounds aren't really huge. So you could do it in a couple of hours in the morning or in the afternoon. Then I also think it's worth checking out Fushimi Inari if you'd like.
Yes.
That's the one.
I've never been there.
Oh, you must. It's very accessible from Kyoto Station, and it's mostly famous. People who don't know what I'm talking about, this will jog their memory. There was a lot of memoirs of a geisha film there, all the red torii gates all lined up.
Oh, yeah.
And you can park your stroller at the bottom and walk up. And if you bother walking up more than 20, 30 minutes, the tourists disappear because most people get tired. So if you want to get your photos of sort of kids having a little walk through the torii gates, just going a little bit further than the average person makes a difference. A lot of people actually talk about going early in the morning, but I also recommend at night. And I know a lot of families that have taken children in pajamas after dinner. There's nothing against that. And it's really special, a little night adventure.
That's great. I didn't realize you could go at night.
Yeah, it's open all the time. Of course, you'll miss out on any food stalls or little shops or anything, but there's only a couple anyway. And wouldn't that be a cool thing to say as a family? Remember when I had a little dinner at Kyoto Station, and then we caught a train and went out to Fushimi Inari and had a magical walk. You take a torch or something if you wanted to.
So anytime, it's open anytime?
It's open anytime. You could go at 5 a.m, you could go at 9 o'clock at night, you can go at midnight, whenever you like. So that's really cool.
Oh, so if you've got a bit of jet lag, go hang out at the temples. Oh, you can't go to all of them. It's only Fushimi.
Fushimi Inari is the one that's open all the time, yes.
Okay, so most of them open at 10 o'clock?
Most of them open So yes, most of the temples open around 9 or 10 o'clock and close at around 4 or 5 p.m. So you can check on Google Maps for individual options, of course. Kiyomizu is open from 6 a.m. until about 5 or 6, depending on the season. And sometimes when it's autumn, they have special light up things at night. So it's worth also just having a little Google, depending on when you're visiting, to see if there's anything special, because you could have a little walk after dinner or just leading into dinner. It's very nice there.
So there are over 1,600 Buddhist temples and 400 Shinto shrines. You've said your favorite is Kinkakuji and Kiyomizu-dera, but which ones are the most kid-friendly?
Oh, I'd say but the reason I've listed those is because I do believe that they're kid-friendly. There's lots of options nearby. But if you're looking for options that aren't as busy, I recommend, now people who live in Kyoto will roll their eyes because these are hardly hidden at all, but lesser known to tourists or first-time visitors to Japan. I like a place called Kodaiji, Kodaiji. Kodaiji, and that's actually only 9 minutes walk from Kiyomizu-dera. So you could pair them together. So Kiyomizu, and then you walk for 10 minutes and go to this other smaller one. And then another 8 minutes from there, you've got Maruyama Park. There's a couple of ramen shops nearby that are very kid-friendly as well, particularly one called Tokyu Ramen. And it's just a mum and pop shop, and they welcome kids, and they're so kind. It's just beautiful. So you could pair those sort of things together. And then the second one that comes to mind is called Enkoji.
Okay.
Enkoji. And that is a little bit out of the main part, the central part of Kyoto, but it's worth it because you will feel like you're one of the few people that have discovered it. But right near there is also a big adventure playground called Kodomo no Rakuen in a park called Takaragaike Park, and that you could pair those together. So a lot of families that speak to me and want to know how to just have a nice slow travel experience, they can check out Enkoji. It has a beautiful little bamboo garden. It has one of those, the sand that you rake.
Yeah, Zen garden.
A Zen garden. And then you've got this, you've got the amazing adventure playground not too far away. So you can pair those together really nicely.
Oh, wow. I'll put all this in the show notes, and also it's all on the Tokyo chapter, isn't it?
Yes, with extremely nerdy detail.
So these places are a little bit off the beaten track, but fantastic for kids. How many of these landmarks, temple shrines, do you think you could do in a day with kids?
Honestly, I think 2 is a max. I think particularly with children who are under 10, I wouldn't aim for more than 2, and you'd need something more upbeat in the middle. So like a playground, a really fun interactive restaurant or cooking experience like okonomiyaki or shabu-shabu where everybody gets hands-on, some ice cream in the middle, something fun. 3, I think, is pushing it, and that's where you'll have a harder time getting them up and getting them excited about things for the next day. So it's not boring. It's a lot of people think, oh, my kids are going to hate it. You'll be surprised. A lot of people, I think, count too quickly that their kids won't be interested. There's koi in the gardens. There's different types of gardens. So the landscape is constantly changing when you go around corners. Japanese gardens are very manicured and manufactured, so in a beautiful way that I love. So everything is placed very intentionally. So it's really exciting. And then once again with the seasons, everything changes as well. So you might see one area has a big red tree and the next one is all green. It's really special.
There is tons to look at for kids. They will not be bored. I can assure you that.
Yes, and if you have children who love to draw, you could make it when we get home, let's draw some of the pictures. Let's, it's really, really special.
Okay, so if families do choose to stay in Kyoto, how many days do you recommend?
I think, particularly if we're going to do Nara from Kyoto as well, I think it would be too rushed if you did any less than 4 or 5 days. In Kyoto. You just need a few days of downtime, slower moving, and then a few days of ticking off those must-see spots, and then a chance to wander, because you've got other places like Nishiki Market where we can walk through and try all the weird and wonderful foods. Arashiyama's 15 minutes away on the train, and that's famous for that bamboo forest. I recommend at least 3/4 of a day there. It sounds really naff and no one believes me until they go, but the Kyoto Railway Museum is exceptional for children, babies and adults.
Really?
It is incredible. They're set it up so you've just got this giant warehouse full of trains, old and new, and you can walk through different kinds of bullet trains. You can sit down and have like a pretend meal, or if you go to the cafe, you can have a real train meal. You can learn about different kinds of trains. There's a whole section for babies, so babies can have tummy time, and they've got lots of tracks that they can play with. There's also a rooftop area on top of the museum where you can look at over Kyoto Station and see real trains from above. It's real train geekdom, but I wouldn't consider myself a train person, but me as an adult, I also really love it there. You can see inside the driver's area. You can literally walk in and have a touch. It's really special. It's really good. And next door, there's another adventure playground. So it makes it really easy to pair with kids. In summer, that adventure playground has a splash area for children. It's called Umekoji Park. It's literally next door. So you could start the morning there, get some wriggles out, do the museum, and then maybe head over to a temple when everybody's a bit more chill.
Yeah.
You could do a temple and yummy meal.
That just sounds so fun. I'm far from a train spotter, but I would go there. The way you described it, I would go there. I even enjoyed the dingy little bus museum we've got here in Sydney.
Yes. Well, you'd be blown away. The attention to detail is just beautiful. It's so hands-on. So many parents message me and say, we popped in there because it was raining and we didn't leave for 3 hours. But people just love it because it's just really well done. Everything's in English and Japanese. It's beautiful. It's a really interactive family experience.
Love that idea. And where should people stay in Kyoto? Like in terms of location, and also, is it like a ryokan kind of town?
What some people think of ryokan, yes, they're more Japanese tea houses. So you can stay near the station and be nice and central. I find that easier with small children, particularly when you're going to be popping to Nara, popping to Osaka. Kyoto Station has lots of restaurants all smushed together and big department stores as well. So it gives you more fast-paced options. But if you're looking for something that's more beautiful, you might want to look into the Gion area, which is also Higashiyama area. You can go down by the river, Kawaramachi, as well, as very nice. But yes, I recommend looking into a machiya, which is a Japanese tea house that has been turned into a standalone house that you can rent. And that's a really special experience. So a lot of them have a bath in the backyard. When I say backyard, it's a very Aussie way of calling a beautiful Japanese garden out the back. But yes, I recommend looking into those too, depending on the ages of your children, depending on your budget and what kind of experience. If you're going to move, Kyoto Station. If you're going to take in the scenery and want to have more of a traditional experience, then I would look into a machiya. Because most people want a more cultural experience when they're in Kyoto, a lot of most of the accommodation choices reflect this. So there's not as many business hotel style options. A lot of even the hotels will have a tatami section, or that they would have used dark wood in the architecture. So everything just feels a bit more authentic Japan. Everywhere's authentic, but more authentic Japan in the way that a lot of international people would expect Kyoto to be. Sally, have you ever noticed when you're in Kyoto that a lot of the signs are brown as well? Like 7-Eleven and McDonald's signs they can't use the official signage.
Oh, that's great.
It's really exciting to have a look at. You'll see it in some sleepier Japanese towns as well that have a lot of heritage listed buildings. And so the 7-Eleven, so it doesn't break up all this beautiful traditional wooden structures, 7-Eleven has to change their logo to a brownish kind of colour. And McDonald's sign as well is sort of pared back yellow with a brown colour instead of red. It's quite interesting. I might be wrong, but last I heard, I think it's one of the few places in the world that McDonald's has been willing to bend.
Oh, I bet.
bend their branding.
I can't think of any other McDonald's off the top of my head that have have respected local traditions.
Yeah, so that's a cool thing to ask kids to have a look for. And you could even point it out and say, why do you think that might be?
Yeah.
Do you think they do that anywhere else in the world?
See if they notice a difference.
See if they notice, yeah.
Now, I know there's the train station, so if you want to get to towns further away, but how can you travel around to each historical site, to each temple and shrine?
Okay, so most of the touristy sites are by bus in Kyoto. That's what makes it quite unique. there's a big bus terminal outside of Kyoto Station, and all the buses head off. So some will say like Kiyomizu, like we were talking about before, Kiyomizu Temple, and it'll say the Kinkakuji, the Golden Pavilion. So they all head off on their ways, and that's the most common way to get around. You can also come back by taxi, of course. There's a lot of taxis waddling around. There's no need to book. You can just hail a taxi going by. And my little taxi tip is if you're deciding whether or not you will take a taxi back instead of a bus, because of course a bus will be a couple of $100 per person, but maybe you have a toddler who's having a meltdown or everyone's just had enough and you need to call it a day, you can jump on the Uber app. Uber it works in Japan, but it ends up being a taxi anyway. However, you can use the app to calculate a rough estimation of how much it would be. So let's say you're at the other side of town and someone in your family is like, we got to go, enough, I'm out of here. You can say, oh, okay, so it's going to cost us 3,000 yen to get back now, or it'll cost us 600 yen with all our bus fares. How much do we really want to get out of here? And you can decide. And that helps me personally because then I can weigh up. Sometimes it is worth it. Sometimes you're like throwing 3,000 yen at the situation.
Taxis in Japan, I think they're on par with the prices here in Sydney, maybe a little bit less.
I agree.
I don't think they're that expensive.
No.
It might be a shock for some people coming from other countries, but from us Australians, we pay a fortune for taxis.
Yes. And in Japan, I agree. It's just definitely not the most affordable way to travel. And if you're really watching your budget, then public transport in Japan is reliable and stick with that where you can. But I definitely don't shy from taking taxis. There's a standard fare for the first few minutes, regardless. So depending on where you are, usually it's around 600, 700 yen, particularly in a touristy spot. And then it'll click over after you've done your first few Ks and it'll slowly click over. So that's why you can use the Uber app to get a rough idea and know, including tolls and things like that, how much it's going to be.
And they're not going to rip you off. I got into a taxi here in Sydney. The latest thing now is you get in a taxi and if you've just hailed one, and they go, how much are you going to pay me?
Oh, no.
They ask you to negotiate.
No, none of that in Japan. And if anyone thinks they've been ripped off, I ask them to please just keep the receipt and contact the taxi company because you'll find out, no, there was a reason. Perhaps they asked you which way you wanted to go and you said whichever, and they took a toll road, so maybe it added a couple of 100 yen on top, which is a couple of US dollars on top. I personally, in 13 years of living in Japan and then a few more years back and forth, I have never, ever had a negative taxi experience where a taxi driver tried to rip me off ever. And a lot of people will ask, except for in the remote countryside, almost all taxis now take a credit card.
Fantastic.
So you're good to go. You don't need to have cash on you, and you don't need to tip unless you want to.
What about VIP tours? You mentioned something about them before.
I have. I've recommended, when I say a VIP tour, I mean a private driver. There's a company called Tokudao, Tokudaw, and they're my favorite. Firstly, because they're lovely people. I have a blog post on them if anyone wants to read called I call it Private Drivers and Transfers. And the reason I recommend them, one, because they're just so kind, but also they'll take the mental load off. So you could say, we want to go here, but also we need to stop for matcha on the way because my daughter loves matcha, or something. Can you take us the most scenic route there? They'll take all of that for you. But also, they're one of the few companies I've ever had the chance of using before personally that take car seats for children really seriously. Yes, Japan has quite lax car seat for kid laws compared to Australia. I can't speak for other countries, but in Australia we're right up there with it. And so they're all legally registered, that not all drivers are, and all their vehicles are legally registered, and they can provide the car seats as well. So for infants as well.
Do you have any tips to avoid crowds any time of the day that might be a little bit easier?
Okay, Kyoto is a little bit harder because in most places in Japan, I will say go early in the morning as soon as things open, particularly with children, because things open generally later in Japan, I find, than a lot of other places that I'm used to in Australia. So that's a good option. Kyoto, of course, you are competing with other tour groups and things, so it's not always foolproof, but the start of the day is always a good option. I also recommend having a think before you cancel things due to the rain. I find that a lot of places, particularly with the bamboo garden, that sort of thing, are very beautiful in the rain.
Oh, that would be stunning, I think, with the little raindrops coming down and glistening
It is.
on the bamboo. And Does the bamboo shelter you a little bit?
Bamboo shelters you a little bit, and you can also organise to ride a rickshaw. So the Japanese jindikisha is what they're called in Japan, but a Japanese rickshaw. And you've got a little roof, and they even give you a little blankie if it's cold. And one of the people that took us around one time in the rain said actually the best photos are when it rains, because you've got the sort of a nice cloudy light to work with, and then the droplets on the bamboo. So stunning.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that it's actually easier to film in overcast weather rather than beautiful, bright, sunny days, and photos would be similar. So we get that question a lot when I'm working in television. People are like, oh, no, yesterday was so beautiful and today it's cloudy. It can still look really good, trust me.
Yeah, I can imagine. And the glare as well, right?
You were saying previously in another episode that you have to book ahead for these rickshaw rides.
I would, to avoid waiting. It's not impossible, but with small children, I'm always trying to avoid waiting or putting things by chance. So if I was doing Arashiyama, for example, that place with the bamboo forest that's 15 minutes by train from Kyoto, I would be booking the first rickshaw possible for my family, so that, when we get there, we're good to go, and then everything else we can wing it. We can fall into a place for lunch, and we can wander and follow our nose after that. But we know we've done one of the things on our little Japan bucket list that we wanted to sort out.
How many people fit in one rickshaw?
Usually, if it's 2 adults, it's two people. If you're a larger body person, it might be 1. And if you've got 2 small children, they'll probably let you squeeze in with 1 adult and 2 people.
Are there any other special activities you would suggest doing with kids, like dressing in kimonos and that kind of thing?
I think so. I think it can be a fun way, particularly if you want to get some photos done, or even take your own photos if you're trying to save some money. So like I was saying, a lot of people like to rent on the way up to Kiyomizu-dera, and you can rent and wear that for the whole time that you're at the temple, and get some ice creams, and you can take some little shots, things like that.
I've got a really cute photo of me when I was 4 years old in a kimono, and I just love the photo. It's the most beautiful kimono I've ever seen, and I wish my mum kept it. I don't know what happened to it. I'm pretty sure it was borrowed.
What colour was it?
It was red with gold and green, just the most beautiful fabric you've ever seen. I have dressed in kimonos since, but nothing like that. And my daughter has one as well. We dressed her up in one for a special day in Japan, Shichigo-san, when kids are, is it 5, 3 and 7?
Yes.
And they go to the temple and they get a blessing and that kind of thing. We're in Japan for that. That's actually quite a nice idea. I was a little bit worried that it was, I'm half Japanese. So for me, I feel comfortable doing it. But my daughter's got such blonde hair. I thought people would think it was a little bit offensive or cultural appropriation. Yeah.
This occasionally comes up online, and I personally have never found that. Japanese people that I've always interacted with have been very flattered when people wear kimono or yukata, the summer version. It's a very special way to commemorate Japanese culture. So I personally have never, ever heard a Japanese friend or anyone in the workplace say, I can't believe those foreigners think they should be wearing that. Actually, no. And the reason I was asking about the colours is because when I choose my clothing personally, I'm a real black, white, pastels kind of girl, but I really love the bright colours in Japan. And it kind of works in a kimono when they kind of clash.
Yeah.
It's really like quite stark colours. It looks really, really beautiful. And for yukatas, the summer version, the more colourful, the better. So that's very summer to have like bright pepper flowers, or you might have firework patterns. And the idea is to have as colourful as possible. And then if you see the kids who are graduating, they'll have a very bright coloured kimono, but they might have a little white fluffy fur shawl over the top to keep warm, and that looks very glam as well.
Apart from shrines and temples, is there any other must visits for families?
Well, the Railway Museum, of course, it's come up again that I spoke about earlier, and then Kids Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
As well, that I mentioned earlier.
Osaka,
That's my other one. There's the Ferris wheel in Dotonbori, the one that we were speaking about earlier, that it's sort of a yellow Ferris wheel right on the river. It's actually very touristy and it's a long wait. So instead, I recommend going to in Umeda, which is right near J Osaka. There's a department store called HEP 5.
HEP 5.
And on the top of the department store is a massive red Ferris wheel. It's like a proper full-size Ferris wheel on the top of the building.
That would be pretty high.
It's very high, and you can go and sing karaoke while you're in your little
Stop.
while you're in your little carriage. It's really fun.
That's worth the trip from
Yes.
Tokyo.
Yes, so it's in Umeda and it's called Hep 5, and it's just, you don't have to book ahead. It's just literally on the top floor of this department store, really close to the station.
Is that newish?
No, it was there when I lived in Kobe in my early 20s. It's been there for a long time, and there's a Starbucks just before you get on, so you get some Starbucks and you can put in karaoke song and have a sing until you've done your full circle.
Oh, and we should say, side note, Starbucks is incredible in Japan. It's not like it is in the rest of the world. We could do a whole episode on that.
You could actually, and allow me to take the Starbucks info and run with that too. Just near Kiyomizu Temple, so one of the first one that I mentioned of the touristy options that I believe is a must, there is a Starbucks Starbucks right near there, just 2 minutes walk from Kodaiji or about 10 minutes walk from Kiyomizu, and that is a Starbucks in a traditional old Japanese tea house that's been turned into a Starbucks. So that's a really cool place to, if you're in kimono, to go in there and take some photos. You can kneel on the tummy, have your little Starbucks in your cup.
It feels wrong, doesn't it? But I'm guessing, I haven't been to that one, but I'm guessing when you're there, it doesn't feel like it's the commercialization of Kyoto.
No, it's really cool. It's really well done. Really, really well done.
I normally hate Starbucks coffee, but I will have it in Japan. It's different.
Same.
And have you heard of the International Manga Museum?
I've heard of it, but I haven't ever been and I don't know much about it. Do you know much about it?
I have not been, but I remember people telling me about it and I wish that I had gone, because that's where you can go and get a caricature, or you can get an anime character of yourself drawn and painted there.
How cute.
And I know you can probably do this with AI on your iPhone, but these look very special. They're so detailed. The truth is they've been done by a manga artist.
How cute.
Also, at the start of October, Team Lab BioVortex Kyoto opened. It is the largest team lab in Japan. There's over 50 artworks or installations, and I'm just looking at it online right now, and wow, the images are spectacular. There's what looks like a room full of bubbles that have all formed into a giant cloud.
Oh, wow. That is cool. I'll have to check that out.
This looks so cool. I heard you can spend all day in there, so you may need to extend your trip to Kyoto. Now, the best food in Kyoto, I bet you've got a whole list of kid-friendly restaurants.
Going to more casual spots, I recommend an izakaya called Sugidama. There's a few around Japan, but I really like the one in Kyoto as well, and that's izakaya, so you order lots of little dishes. Kids can come in and try a couple of things. They've got French fries and things too for less adventurous eaters.
Yep.
But they've also got sashimi and edamame, and you can get some tempura. It's really, really good. Tajimaya, there's a couple around Kyoto, a couple near the station, and a couple near Nishiki Market that I can think of right now. And that is sukiyaki and shabu shabu, so the kids can have all you can eat veggies, all you can eat salad, all you can eat meat for 60 minutes or 90 minutes, including Wagyu, Kobe beef if you'd like. The budget goes up, of course, depending on the quality of the meat you choose. And then all you can eat dessert, drinks.
And you can book all of these places.
You can book all of these places. You could also try rocking up with children. That's risky business for me, particularly for dinner. I would recommend booking for dinner just to make sure you've got your seating sorted. But yes, you could have a little waddle in as well. And one more near Nishiki Market that I think is worth checking out is Chao Gyoza. Chao is spelled C-H, not like Italian, but C-H-A-O. Chao Gyoza. That's a chain and you can find many of them around, but I really like the one near Nishiki Market. So lots of little tiny gyozas. And
my tummy's rumbling.
It's a good place for kids to try, and it feels like a little hidden spot, but it's not so hidden to locals, but it is to our international tourists.
All right, Joe, we've gone through all the hotspots, all the information you need to know for Osaka and Kyoto, but you're an old hand at this now, so I want to throw 5 more questions at you.
I'm ready.
What kind of traveller are you? Are you an itinerary queen or a go-with-the-flow kind of gal? I think I know the answer.
I wish I could be go with the flow. I'm an itinerary queen, but like I said before, I like the base to be there. So I'm happy to say, like, we're going to explore this area today, everybody, and we're going to have dinner at this spot at 6:00.
Yeah.
And then everything else is going to happen to us. And sometimes, like everywhere in the world, I get somewhere and think, oh, that's not quite what I thought it would be. And we change the plan up. But I like to stick to that 6:00 dinner time or that lunchtime or whatever we've booked around there. So that's not very go with the flow, but to me that's as go with the flow as I go.
I love it. How has traveling changed you since having kids?
Controversial opinion, I think it's got better. I think it's gotten better because it's made me slow down, and I love watching travel through my children's eyes. I also did my most recent trip to Japan, and yes, a lot of it is for work, but the pace at which I wanted to move, I was exhausted because kids keep me slow because we need a little downtime either at the start, the end, or the middle of the day. So I just enjoy that leaning in to the small things with children.
What's your favourite family holiday memory?
It was the first time my little boy, he was about 2, and we all stayed in a little, it was kind of like a ryokan style hotel in Arashiyama, and he was just old enough to like properly hop in the hot water with us. We rented the private bath just for our family, and that was the first time that he slept through the night. So when you've had the onsen, you feel so beautiful when you get out of the water. Your skin never felt more clean, more clear. You feel like warmed to the core. It's just so beautiful. And then you put the light yukata on over the top, and if you're doing it as Japanese people do, you've got no clothes on underneath, so it's just like this soft fabric on your skin. And then I put my son to sleep in the futon next to his sister, and he was a terrible, like, at not sleeping through the night. And he woke up and I went, I've worked out the problem. You're Japanese. That's why you haven't slept through the night. You need a hot bath before bed. You're Japanese.
What's the most unexpected thing you've learned about your kids while traveling?
I think it's taught me, this is my first time in my life being a mum, of course, about pacing. So I've made the mistake, and I think everybody has to make it at the start. We just try and jam in too much. So I've worked out my kids, they love to be out and they love doing new things, but they also need their downtime. So that's what I've really learned.
What's your next destination with kids that's not Japan?
I'm going to Europe for Christmas. My husband's from Scotland, and we're going to do a few European countries either side of Christmas, and I'm very, very excited.
Oh, well, I hope you have the best time there. That would be beautiful.
Thank you. So excited.
Thank you once again. Now, just remind everyone, how can we find more of this information and how can we contact you?
Oh, thank you. My blog is called thetokyochapter.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. But you can pop me an email through the blog website. But have a read, have a search around and see what you can find.
Yeah, there's so much information on there. If you can't find it, I'll be very shocked.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jo. You should be well and truly set for your adventure to Osaka or Kyoto now. A lot of Australians fly into Osaka and then they go up. So you don't just have to come down from Tokyo. You can start in Osaka, a few days there, and then head to Kyoto. Jo suggested 4 to 5 days there, which is, I think, a fabulous amount of time, especially if you are traveling with little kids, and 2 temples and shrines in one day is probably enough. Great advice on visiting certain sites early morning and late at night. They're not all open with those extra hours, but Fushimi Inari with the bamboo forest, what a great idea to go in your pajamas. Kids are always up so early and there's not much open early in Japan, so that's a really great idea because that one gets very crowded. So yeah, I think a few days in Osaka, head to Kyoto, and you can also go to Kobe and Nara. Now, you can hear Jo and I talk about Nara in a bite-sized episode coming up in a few days. In this episode, we also talk about, how do I put this nicely? How you can stay regular in Japan. Fine, I'm just going to say it. Constipation. I'm talking about it. Everyone seems to struggle. I don't know if it's eating too much rice, but we are going to tackle the C word in the next few days. So make sure you stay subscribed to this podcast because it will drop straight to your podcast feed. Please share this episode with your fellow travel-loving friends and families. Perhaps they're heading off to Japan soon. Leave a review. I'll include all the information from today's episode in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. But until next time, happy travels.
And don't forget the snack.